Well, that's an ordeal. You've just been born, squeezed unwillingly from your mother's warm and comfortable womb, popping out of your mom's back end and falling onto the hard, dusty floor, drenched in amniotic fluid and still half inside the amniotic sac is not an experience you'd like to repeat. But don't worry about that because being born is a one-time deal. In a minute, you're going to have to get to your feet and start working out what you are and what you need to do to survive. But just take a few moments to chill out, catch your breath, and make the most of this brief respite. Because from here on in, your life is really going to suck. Okay, stand up and take a look around.
These guys must be family. But what are they? Horses? Wild asses? Zebras? Which one's Mom? That one? Oh wait, wrong one. This one? Right, this one. That's better. Okay, stay with her.
An hour's already passed. You've had your first meal from Mom and you're much more steady on your feet. You can already run if you need to, which is good because there's no shortage of animals about with sharp teeth and hungry bellies that would be happy to make a meal of you. But for the moment, the coast looks clear. Lucky for you.
So am I...
Well, let's look at Mom to answer that. At the front end, she looks like a zebra, only with brown and white stripes instead of black and white ones. But at the back end, she's just brown, with no stripes at all.
How did that happen? Was she the result of an impressionable young wild ass falling for the smooth charms of a slick and debonair zebra?
No, she's a quagga. Your dad was a quagga, all of your grandparents were quaggas, and you? Yep, you too, that makes you a quagga.
A curwada?
A quagga. It's a kind of zebra, but just one without the black and white stripes.
So not a zebra then?
Yes, definitely a zebra, just one with weird dress sense. One that takes fashion tips from a scarecrow rather than from a 1980s pimp. A quagga. Got it? Cool. Now with your identity crisis resolved, you quickly settle into your quagga lifestyle. You hang together with about 30 animals that all look like Mum, or at least the older ones do. The juveniles and babies like you are mostly all brown, and you'll only develop your stripes as you grow older. So, this is your group. Well, group is a bit of a euphemism because actually it's more like a harem. There's one stallion in the group, and the rest of the adults are all his ladies. He's your dad, and he's also the dad of everyone else in the group who's not one of his ladies. Yeah, he acts like a pimp even if he doesn't dress like one. You can't really say he's in charge though because the diminutive little chap is actually smaller than any of his females, but he struts around as though he's the boss and the ladies just let him get on with it. Living in a group like this helps you all stay safe. If the group gets attacked by pack hunters like hyenas, the adults all close in around you and the boss man tries to scare them off. These tactics don't work against lions though, so when they try to hunt you, all you can do is stay alert and run for your life when you spot them. Doesn't work for everyone, but as long as it's not you, it's no biggie. You're getting older now, and since you haven't died yet, it looks like you've earned your stripes. Literally. They're really starting to show now, and you're growing into a strapping young quagga. Look at you.
But how did quaggas end up looking like this when all the other zebras look so chic and sexy?
Zebras are majestic. Zebras are beautiful. Zebras are photogenic. Zebras are iconic. And quaggas look like someone ran out of paint halfway through the job, tipped whatever they had left in the tin over your back, packed up, and left to go down the pub. But if you don't have nice white and black zebra stripes, it probably means you don't need them.
But why do zebras have stripes anyway?
Well, it might be for camouflage, except most of them live in environments where black and white stripes wouldn't be much use. Maybe it breaks up the shape of individuals, so predators find it harder to target single zebras when they hunt. But lions don't have any problems catching zebras when they get close enough, so it's probably not that. Some people have suggested it might be due to thermoregulation. Basically, it keeps zebras cool in the hot African sun, and there might be something in that. But the most likely reason is because it stops flies from biting them. Weird, huh? It turns out bugs like tsetse flies get put off by stripy landing strips. Who'd have thunk it? But you live in the southernmost part of Africa, and there's not so many flies here. So instead of the stunning classic black and white attire of normal zebras, you dress like you got your outfit from a yard sale. Nice. You're now a young adult, and since you're a male, you're no longer welcome in your family group, aka your dad's harem. So it's time to leave and join a bachelor's group. Once you join up with the other boys, you can look forward to attending wild all-night parties, watching sports games while drinking beer with the lads, and generally enjoying an independent bachelor's lifestyle. Except no, that's not it. As the youngest member of a bachelor's group, you'll be the most junior quagga around. Your group will spend its time hanging about on the very edge of quagga society, following the larger herds formed by the various harems owned by older stallions. And all you can do is hope that one day in the far distant future, you'll live to become big, strong, and old enough to claim a harem for yourself. And until that day, all you can ever do is watch all the lovely ladies from afar. But in the meantime, you can also hone your fighting skills by engaging in playful sparring matches with the other boys to make sure that if the day ever comes when you need to fight to claim some ladies of your own, you'll be more than ready. Life's been mostly uneventful for the past few years. There's been a bit of excitement from time to time, but most of your life has been dedicated to grazing, socializing with the other guys in your group, and taking part in a bit of friendly fighting now and then. You're now about 6 years old. You're a fully grown, powerful adult male quagga and are now one of the senior animals in your bachelor group. But you've spent your entire life hanging around with the other guys just like you, and you're embarrassed to admit that even at this age, you're still a virgin. So it's time to do something about it. To rectify the situation, you have two options. Either you can take over an existing harem from another stallion, or you can set out on your own and start to build your own harem yourself. In quagga society, it's not the done thing to challenge a healthy stallion and fight him for his harem. Takeovers are usually done peacefully when a stallion becomes too old or is no longer in good enough health to keep his harem. But that means waiting for a vacancy, and your irrepressible hormones are urging strongly against patience. So you decide to start looking for girl quaggas who might be open to starting a new group with you. Now, when younger female quaggas reach adulthood, they also need to leave their family groups. And if you can convince them you are the one for them, they may decide to join you. The only problem with this is their dads might not agree. And rather than sit down with him to ask respectfully for his daughter's hand in marriage, the normal way to go about things is to fight him and then abduct his beloved child after you force him to tap out. Right, worth a go. What could go wrong? Not so easy. But a hoof in the face or a bite in the neck is not enough to calm those raging hormones, so you try and try and try again. And eventually you come away with the prize. You keep at it, and your harem begins to grow in size. With such a large harem under your control, other females now begin to join you of their own volition, and it looks like you've done what you set out to achieve. You mate constantly with your ladies, and they give you plenty of foals of your own. But although you're a proud dad, you don't lift a hoof to help bring them up or teach them any valuable life lessons because that's not part of your job description. But this is, though. That's just the price you pay for being the top quag, but it's worth it. This is what you've been working towards all these years, and now you're going to enjoy it while it lasts. But then one day, in an instant, it all comes to a sudden, painful, and violent end. The problem is, people from a faraway place called Europe have been turning up in the areas where your kind roam. They brought their own animals with them, and since you compete with their animals for foraging grounds, the people don't like you much, so they shoot you. Some people do like to eat you though, so they shoot you for your meat. And despite your less than flattering brown, stripy attire, they also seem to like your hides, so they shoot you for those too. And unfortunately, that's just what's happened to you. After collecting a harem of mares, fathering numerous quagga foals, and generally living the dream, this is how it's going to end. And what's worse, this is how it's going to end for all quaggas, because your kind only occupies a small range in the most southern part of Africa. And honestly, you don't make yourselves particularly hard to hunt. So before they fully understand what you are, or even that there are almost none of you left, these nasty upright monkeys from far away will have shot you all with their guns, and then there'll be no quaggas left. If it's any consolation, you weren't the first animal to suffer this fate, and you certainly won't be the last. That's just what these creatures seem to do wherever they go. But that's unlikely to make you feel much better because now you're dead, along with everyone you ever knew. And this means the worst dressed zebra in all of Africa is now, unfortunately, extinct.